You think your words can shake my faith? Watch what happens when truth meets ignorance. Muhammad Ali stood at the center of a packed community hall in Detroit, 1975. The air was thick with tension. A middle-aged white woman in a floral dress had just interrupted his interfaith dialogue, her voice cutting through the crowd like a blade. Her face was red, her finger pointed directly at him. 7 cameras captured the moment. Ali didn't flinch. His eyes, calm as still water, met hers. The room held its breath. What happened in the next 11 minutes would change lives forever. The woman's name was Margaret Thompson, a devout Christian from the suburbs who had come specifically to confront the boxer. She believed his conversion to Islam was a betrayal of American values. Her hands trembled as she clutched her Bible, but her voice remained steady and loud. Ali smiled, not with mockery, but with genuine warmth. He stepped closer to her, his massive frame somehow non-threatening. The crowd of over 300 people leaned forward. Some expected an explosion, others hoped for wisdom. Nobody expected what came next. If this story is already touching your heart, subscribe to the channel and hit that hype button. Drop a comment below telling us what you think Ali will say. Your engagement helps us bring more incredible true stories like this one. Let's grow together. Ali raised his hand asking for silence. His voice, usually booming and confident, became soft and measured. He began by thanking Margaret for her courage to speak her mind. He acknowledged her faith, her dedication to her beliefs. Then he did something unexpected. He asked her to sit down, not as a command, but as an invitation. Margaret hesitated, her eyes scanning the crowd for support. A few people nodded. She sat, her Bible still pressed against her chest. Ali pulled up a chair and sat facing her, eye to eye, equal to equal. He started talking about his mother, how she raised him in a Baptist church in Louisville, Kentucky, how she taught him to pray, to respect God, to love his neighbor. His voice carried the weight of genuine emotion. Margaret's rigid posture began to soften. Ali spoke about the confusion he felt as a young black man in America, seeing churches segregated, seeing people who preached love on Sunday participate in hatred on Monday. He wasn't attacking Christianity. He was sharing his pain. The crowd was silent. Even the cameramen forgot to adjust their equipment. Then Ali did something remarkable. He quoted the Bible, not to mock it, but to show he knew it. He recited verses about loving your enemy, about not judging others, about seeking truth. Margaret's eyes widened. She hadn't expected this. Ali explained that his journey to Islam wasn't a rejection of Jesus, whom Muslims also revere as a prophet, but a search for a direct connection with God. He spoke about prayer 5 times a day, about charity, about fasting, about pilgrimage. He made it personal, not political. He made it about faith, not race. A young black man in the back of the room stood up. His name was Jerome, a college student who had come out of curiosity. He raised his hand and asked Ali a question that cut to the core. "How do you know your path is the right one?" Ali turned to him, his expression serious. He said something that would echo through that hall for years. He said that no one can know with absolute certainty, but that faith is about following what resonates in your soul, what brings you closer to goodness, what makes you a better human being. He said that God judges hearts, not labels. Margaret spoke again, but this time her voice was different, quieter, more vulnerable. She asked Ali if he believed Christians could go to heaven. The room tensed again. This was the moment that could either build a bridge or burn it down. Ali leaned forward, his elbows on his knees, his hands clasped together. He said that he believed God is merciful and just, and that anyone who lives righteously, who serves others, who seeks truth with sincerity, will find God's grace. He said that his Islam taught him that God alone decides who enters paradise, not human beings with their limited understanding. Tears began to form in Margaret's eyes. She had come expecting a fight. She had come armed with arguments and scripture. But Ali had disarmed her with respect, with knowledge, with humility. She asked him another question, her voice breaking. She asked if he thought she was a bad person for what she said. Ali shook his head firmly. He told her that speaking your truth, even when it's uncomfortable, takes courage. He told her that disagreement doesn't mean disrespect. He told her that they could honor each other's paths without abandoning their own. A Hispanic woman named Rosa stood up from the middle section. She had been Catholic her whole life, but had been questioning her faith after personal tragedies. She asked Ali how he dealt with doubt. Ali's face lit up. He admitted that doubt is part of faith. He talked about his own struggles, his own questions, his own dark nights of the soul. He said that doubt doesn't make you weak, it makes you honest. He said that wrestling with God is a sacred act. The crowd murmured in agreement. People were nodding, some wiping their eyes. An elderly white man named Robert, a World War II veteran, stood up next. His voice was gruff but respectful. He said he had fought for this country and didn't understand why Ali had refused to go to Vietnam. This wasn't about religion anymore. This was about patriotism, about duty. The tension returned. Ali didn't dodge the question. He explained his position clearly. He said that his faith taught him that killing innocent people, regardless of their nationality, was wrong. He said that standing up for your principles, even when it costs you everything, is the highest form of patriotism. He said that loving your country doesn't mean agreeing with every decision it makes. Robert listened, his jaw tight. Then something unexpected happened. He nodded slowly. He said he didn't agree with Ali's decision, but he respected the consistency of his convictions. He said that too many people talk about principles but abandon them when it's inconvenient. He said that Ali had paid a heavy price for his beliefs, losing his titles, his income, his prime years. That, Robert said, was integrity. The crowd erupted in applause. Ali and Robert shook hands, two men from different worlds finding common ground. Margaret stood up again. Her face was transformed. The anger was gone, replaced by something else. Curiosity, openness. She asked Ali if he would pray with her. Not a Muslim prayer or a Christian prayer, but a prayer to the God they both believed in. Ali smiled broadly. He agreed immediately. They stood together in the center of the hall. Ali raised his hands in the Islamic way. Margaret clasped hers in the Christian way. Ali spoke first, thanking God for the opportunity to meet Margaret, for the chance to learn from her courage, for the blessing of dialogue. Margaret followed, thanking God for opening her heart, for teaching her humility, for showing her that truth has many faces. When they finished, the hall was silent except for the sound of people crying. Not sad tears, but tears of release, of transformation, of understanding. Margaret hugged Ali, this man she had come to condemn. She whispered something in his ear that only he could hear. Later, he would tell reporters that she thanked him for treating her like a human being, not an enemy. She thanked him for showing her that faith could be a bridge, not a wall. Over the next hour, 7 people approached Ali privately. Jerome, the college student; Rosa, the questioning Catholic; a young white woman named Sarah, who had been searching for meaning; 2 black men who had been raised Christian but felt disconnected; an Asian American man named David who had been exploring different faiths; and Margaret herself. All 7 would later convert to Islam, not because Ali had argued them into it, but because he had loved them into curiosity. He had shown them a version of faith that was inclusive, thoughtful, and deeply personal. The story spread quickly. Newspapers covered it. Television stations played the footage. But what they couldn't capture was the subtle transformation that happened in that room. It wasn't about one religion winning over another. It was about human beings seeing each other as human beings. It was about respect transcending disagreement. It was about the power of listening, of vulnerability, of meeting people where they are. Ali had done what he did best. He had fought, not with his fists, but with his heart. Years later, Margaret would say that day changed her life. Not because she abandoned Christianity, but because she learned to practice it more authentically. She became an advocate for interfaith dialogue, for understanding, for breaking down the walls that divide people. She remained friends with Ali until his death, visiting him even when Parkinson's had stolen his voice. She would sit with him in silence, 2 souls who had once been adversaries, now united in their shared humanity. Hey, my friends. Help me by subscribing to the channel so we can reach 1,000 subscribers, even if you're watching from your TV or computer. Your subscription makes all the difference, and the algorithm will help you see more amazing stories. Leave a like or an emoji in the comments, and be part of this growth.